Hey, welcome to the show, Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business. This is Coach James Short, aka Shorty. And this is a show for those within the real estate industry wanting to lead and grow their real estate business. It's a series of interviews that we conduct for those within the industry. So we're finding out what those leaders are within the industry, what makes them tick, what's their story, what are their strategies, and how to become the leaders and the growers within the industry. But also, it's an interview series with those outside of the industry. I'm always a big believer of looking at a whole different part of the pie rather than just focusing on one part of the pie. Because what it does, it allows you to have a different perspective, allows you to get snippets or golden nuggets from those outside of the industry that can look into the industry and go, there's a different perspective. And so I encourage you to reach out to the guests. I encourage you to lean into these series to find out how can these pieces of information, experiences, stories help you lead and grow your real estate business. And before we get underway with our latest episode, just a little shout out to these amazing crew at Magic Mind. Magic Mind has been it's a productivity hit in the bottle. I've been using these supplementations now for a number of weeks, and the clarity, the focus, and the performance that I've been getting from these nutrients in a bottle. They've got amazing vitamins, amazing minerals. They've got a bunch of mushrooms in there as well. It's a great productivity hack that I've been using every single day. So if you want to try it out, head on over to www.magicmind.com/James Short, and you'll be able to get amazing discounts when you subscribe and when you try the product. And at the checkout, simply add in James Short 20 to get your discount. So head on over, Magic Mind, productivity in a bottle. Oh, I love it. Now, on with the show. He is a legend. He is a superstar. Richard Toutounji. He is the owner of Australia's first private fitness studio and founder of one of the fastest growing corporate wellness companies for 21 years. Richard is known as the go-to authority in the fitness industry. Richard, along with his wife Joey, founded Com Marketing, educating health and fitness studios globally. Their award-winning Com Marketing Ninja program has empowered thousands of fitness studios and have now been recognized by the governing bodies partnering on marketing education with AUSactive, Exercise New Zealand, Pilates Association Australia, and Yoga Australia. Richard is a best-selling author and international speaker. He's a serial entrepreneur and obsessed with helping fitness business owners achieve impossibilities through proven experiences and programs to create a healthier, happier world. Richard currently resides in Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia, and with his wife and two boys. Richard, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on the show, my friend. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much for that intro that I wrote as well. It's amazing.
Please excuse my croaky voice. It's this is what happens when you're an assistant coach for under 18s girls basketball all weekend, yelling and screaming from the sideline. So apologies up front. Mate,
Nice work.
I know, right? I know. Let's get straight into it. Marketing. Why did you set up Com Marketing, and what was the gap that you saw that you needed to help with those within the fitness industry?
Yeah. Okay, sure. Let's do it. So first of all, thanks for having me on the show. The big gap that I saw probably just before YouTube sort of kicked off, James, I created a website called Meet Your Personal Trainer. And it was basically for people who were outdoors that didn't have studios or fitness facilities or gyms. They were the mobile personal trainers. They were quite big back in the day. And they came to your house and they got the equipment out of your boot and that kind of stuff. But the one thing that I really annoyed me and struggled with was that, Australia is a population of, becoming more overweight every day. And I wrote a book about this 10 years ago. And the reason being is because I just think that a lot of it comes down to education. A lot of it comes down to understanding, what to do. And yes, there's all this information out there, but when somebody connects with somebody, that they know, a friend, a relative, a close acquaintance, and they've made a substantial change in their life, they take action. And so I created this website called Meet Your Personal Trainer with the intent to film thousands of personal training video profiles and put them out there for their potential audience to see. Now, this is, James, well, this was before the phones, the iPhones that had cameras on. I don't know if
Yep.
anybody can remember that far back. This was before
Yeah, flip phones.
flip phone, all that sort of stuff. We had to go with an old school video camera. And so me and my wife, Joey, who also runs the business with me too, we ran out and filmed over 1,000 personal trainers, one-on-one, and saying, hey, can you be on this video? You should be on this video. Why do you want to be in the video? And then film them. And we sort of like created this hub of content. And still to today, James, it's the same messaging. We do it a different way. We create now market leaders in every industry or every area, because ultimately people need what we have. But the best people that know what we have is our clientele.
Mm.
But our clients, when you want to grow and scale a business, if it's fitness or real estate or whatever it may be, we want to make sure that potential people that could be great clients know what we do. And that's essentially why I'm passionate about that messaging. I mean, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they all come and go, James, but it's our story. It's our uniqueness. It's what we do. Nobody can copy, nobody can compete. But unfortunately, the way that marketing is today, there's a lot of hack marketing, and those days are really disappearing, James. There's very little ways we can get ahead without doing it properly.
I love that, and that's so true. And I just want to unpack something that you just said there is about your uniqueness, because I think, obviously you're in the health and fitness space, but also you see so many, like I've seen so many come from the health and fitness space, I've been one of them, into the real estate space, because it's still an energy game. But that uniqueness, and I think let's unpack that for a minute. What is that specifically, and how does someone go about tapping into that?
Yeah. Well, the uniqueness is that everybody has, and it's generally part of your DNA to a degree, and it's combined with something that either it's always like, why did you go on business for? You sort of asked me that question, and it's just like, well, why did the moment you do what you do for? There was a reason why you decided to go to a uni course. There was a reason why you decided to get that job. There was a reason why you decided to play that sport. There was something why you wanted to make the adjustment, the change. And you combine that with your DNA, right? With your natural ability to do what you do, then what happens, you have a strong conviction forward. And I just think, like, a lot of the time, and it takes time, like you say, what's your DNA? What's your background? I think you have to have a natural born talent. That's what I believe. You have to have some sort of natural born talent, but you got to know that you have that natural born, and you got to figure out what that natural born talent is as soon as you kind of can. And I think a lot of people miss that mark because we're too busy and just looking at other people, what's going on. So if you've got that natural born talent, and then you apply that thing that you want people to get out, or you want to hear that message, that's how I always find that uniqueness in the marketplace.
Yeah, I love that. And that's what I would imagine. That then takes time. That takes some thinking space. That takes some reflection of all those questions that you've put forward. You've seen some amazing businesses, and you've helped some amazing businesses. But where have you seen those businesses that you haven't helped that have really fallen down in their marketing? What aren't they doing well? What are they getting wrong?
Well, James, just on that question, I mean, we all know right now the market is crunching, and we're seeing more businesses go out of business now than ever before, because it's not what they've missed out, it's what they completely didn't do, and it's consistency of doing what they needed to do. Because sometimes there's ups and downs in business. What we're realizing now, the smart business owners are coming to us and going, hey, and before, James, well, I had business owners that would come to us and say, oh, listen, I'm desperate. I just need to get some leads in, Richard. You know what I mean? Like, can you get me some leads? I go, dude, like, yes, we can get leads. Go on Facebook. Anybody can get leads, James. Leads are out there. You put a free offer on Facebook or something, and imagine you put an offer on Facebook, James, and you said, I'm giving away $1 million. There's nothing you need, just your name and email address, right? Like, not many people are going to believe it, but you'd get leads from that, right? So with the right offer in place, with the right platform, leads are there. but I don't think it's leads what people are really needing. People are wanting clients, they're wanting members, they're wanting people that actually want to work with them and makes them feel good and makes their company drive for success. That's what people really want.
Yep.
And so when we stop the hustle, and we stop trying to get that next client, that next thing, and slow down and go, well, how can I attract my perfect audience? That's how we start to really grow. And I think back to your question of like, where are people falling down? They're really falling down thinking that business was what it was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, where they're running on referral marketing still. They're running on, going to a conference, going to an event. They're running on the next challenge. They're running on the next sale. Like, all these things are good. Like, it's always awesome when someone calls up and says, hey, you got referred. It's awesome. But do you really think that's what happens in look at businesses? I mean, I came from the airport the other day and I saw this massive Pepsi Cola sign just sitting there. Nothing, just Pepsi. And I think got slightly new branding, it looks like to me. And I saw it the other day, and I haven't thought about it until right now. I saw it at the airport 4 days ago, this massive sign, Pepsi. That was it. And last night, I went into a service station to fill up my car, and then I see a massive Pepsi display with all the different Pepsis there. And it's like, these guys have huge market share, but they got huge market share. Why? Because they keep advertising. They keep their brand equity up. They don't stop. Because I think right now, it's easy, and Facebook was like a candy sugar hit for us all, where it's like, oh, let's advertise on Facebook and let's get some leads. But now, if we really look at our Facebook numbers and what the lead cost is going to cost, the leads are very expensive on Facebook. So now we're starting to see people move into back to other forms of marketing. But the most important thing, to answer your question, James, is that we can't stop marketing, because when you stop marketing, there's more places that people can get distracted to go to. There's more competition. Everybody wants your business. This is the client I worked with, and you've got 3 other competitors go and knock on their door. So that's the game. And I think every industry, if you haven't reached that level of competition, it's there. And if you're not there yet, it will be. And so we just have to rise above, not pull people down, rise above. And good business owners that are coming to us now, back to my story, they're coming to us and say, Richard, I know that we're doing good, but I want to stay doing good and better.
Yeah.
And that's the people I really love to work with, because they're smart business owners. They understand the market is shifting, and you can't think that you were like you were yesterday.
I love that. And there's so many pieces around that, particularly like taking that time to reassess. And yes, as you said, there are leads out there. Just put the net out and you'll catch them. But you actually want those paying clients. You want those, people that you actually do business with, that you like to do business with. And that comes back to your strategy. That comes back to having that thought, that process out, like what you said with Pepsi, of what can we do consistently, time and time again, to be front of mind of people time and time again. And so when we talk about strategy, when we talk about marketing, what are some of the key things that business owners need to be aware of? You said that the things have changed from 5 years ago, but is there anything else that, business owners need to be wary of when they do their marketing or they do their strategy of like, okay, that's a really good point. Hey guys, just a little side note here. How's it going? Are you on track this year? I know that sometimes this part of the year we can feel like we're in a bit of a grind, a bit of in the trenches. Are you on track from the original plans that you set out for the rest of this year? What I've realized is that with this time of year, we get so distracted and we've got trying to chase so many shiny balls and go down so many rabbit holes. And that's why I created a program called the 90. It's a framework that actually allows you to achieve more in 90 days than ever before. Some of the feedback that we've got from some of the people that have used the process, the 90, is that they've achieved more in 90 days than the whole previous year. So if you'd like to have the tools, have the techniques, have the framework on the 90, so you and your team can achieve more in 90 days than ever before. What it does, it impacts you of how to get clear, what you need to do, and who you need to be to show up in order to achieve the things you want to achieve over the next 90 days. Simply head over to jamesshort.com.au, click on join the waitlist, fill in your details, and one of the team members will be in touch and take you through the 90 framework. On with the show.
Yeah, well, I'll be a little bit more tactical here. So let's just talk about our social media platforms, our Instagram, our Facebook, even our TikTok, right? We want to create content that's going to bring your USP, your quality up, attract to your audience straight away. What we do is we have a concept called the long lead formula, and we go and take content from your clients or from the expert, you, and we put that every single day on those platforms, across all the platforms, and the content's only short, sharp. So it's anywhere between 10, it could be between 5 to 60 seconds or 30 seconds in a real format. So that's going to provide a lot of advice and strategy versus putting a quote card and say, hey, today's great, that kind of stuff. That's a bit old school. Like it feels warm and fuzzy, but it doesn't really move the needle in regards to acquisition of clients.
Yep.
So you want to look at your Instagram and Facebook and go, am I really providing value, or I'm just ticking the box with my Instagram and Facebook and making my brand look pretty? And I think that's the biggest thing. So Monday to Friday, that's 20 pieces of content, James, one a day.
Yep.
Now, for an expert, fitness operator, or real estate, whatever you may be in any business, we are in the expert industry. So it really, it shouldn't be that hard to come up with, and we have frameworks for all that kind of stuff, James, but really you're coming up with up to 20 topics, but at the same time too, your clients can take most of those. So it's really providing the value to somebody for them. And it's the same thing. It's referrals. But you need to be front of mind for that to happen, because even you can be referred, they still want to know that you're front of mind in that concept. So I think that's the big way it's changed, is that we've obviously got these platforms now. We've got to feed the beast. We've got to feed the Instagram. We've got to feed the Facebook, right? So we've got these platforms we have to feed. Otherwise, the other option is you pay to play a lot of money. Yep. So it's that combination of, we talk about 5 marketing funnels, James. And when I say about 5 marketing funnels, we always want to have our clients have 5 funnels that are active and that are consistent. And a marketing funnel is not, oh, we get a referral in now and again. Unless you have a referral program set up, that is not a marketing funnel. So there's going to be 5 marketing funnels set up that are working consistently. And that's how I think that every business won't die. They're going to thrive at that point.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Talk to me about the market leaders. What does that look like, and what happens there?
Well, I started Market Leaders about probably 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago. I don't know when, but it was for a real estate agent, actually. It was a property developer, and he owned the most properties in Australia at the time, I believe. I think it was 200 or 300 properties or something like that he owned, and he had a property kind of business. His name was Kevin Young, and he had bad reputation management back in the day. So somebody complained about him or something, like, you're always never going to have 100% great clients you work with, right? And so someone complained about him and they wrote something online. And so our job was to push his bad rankings down and rise his rankings up. And so we came up with the concept of, we built heaps of websites for him, but essentially once you build heaps of websites, you need content for the websites. And so what we would do, and where it came from, was we recorded hundreds of pieces of content for him, and he created his own show. And this is going back about 10 years ago. And he had a big database, James, big database on his CRM at that time. He didn't really use it. What we did, we would put this YouTube video, and there wasn't really Facebook kicking off then, or Instagram. So we'd take a piece of content, which was about 3 minutes at that time, and now I would advise less. We'd take a piece of content and we'd send it to his database. Now, when he sent it to his database, his warm clients that knew, liked, and trust him, but he never offered them anything, he created very high value people that were interested in taking a wealth creation check with him. And that's gone on to how he marketed for years after that. And so a market leader is taking your content, distributing it every day on all your platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then sending it to your database. And all you're having to do is literally turn up and we'll video and do everything. So it's a full service storytelling agency where everything is done for you, with the outcome of creating business, not just social media. Because we can all, James, if I wasn't running a business, I doubt heavily I would be on social media. Why would I waste my time for? And I think that's what other business owners think too. Why am I going to waste my time for? But we don't waste our time if done correctly, if done properly, with a really clear return on investment for that. But essentially, you've got to believe in the concept that if somebody has seen you, they're more likely to engage with you. And I think most business owners can obviously agree with that statement, because we all know referral marketing is the best. We all know that people coming to us is better than we trying to find them. And so that's a strategy we do for a whole bunch of market leaders. And I call a real estate a market leader. I call a gym a market leader. Somebody who wants to really take market share in their industry or in their area without having to do all that work. Because when you're posting on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and TikTok, and you write those captions and do all that stuff, even with tools like AI and ChatGPT and Meta AI, even with all that and more, as a business owner, we want to focus on a high value activity, the highest value activity we can do. So what we try to take care is, be that full stack, agency in that business, knowing what the outcome of the owner is. So social media is not like a drag or leads on a drag, but it's actually a way that they'll 10x their business.
Fantastic. Yeah. So true. So important, right? Because I'm a big believer of lean into the things that you're good at. And particularly those, whatever industry you're in, is like you're in that industry for a reason. And so you know your stuff around that industry. So shine and talk and communicate about that stuff, and let your team, i.e. com marketing, do everything around that to support that expertise, and that, as you said, that being that market leader. So love it. So true. Richard, on the show, we have our 60-second quick quiz that we have. Are you willing to play?
I am willing to play, James. And funny story, I know you sent me these questions, and I only open them now, and I go, oh my gosh, there is some questions here I've got to answer. So I'll see how I go. James. Put you on the spot. I just literally opened it up before we talk. So, oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, good. Here we go.
I'm up for it.
What's your favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption. I think that's pretty classical.
Very much so. Favorite food?
Anything like plain chicken, meat, simple, protein. I'm up for it.
So good. What's your favorite holiday destination?
A place called Palm Cove. It's in sort of high-end Queensland.
Beautiful. What's your morning routine?
Anything that makes me get out of my head. So my morning routine is get out of my head. And if that has got to do with possibly a gym, if that's got to do with walking, having a coffee, talking to my wife, or talking to somebody that inspires me, right? That's something I've got to do to get the morning going.
Fantastic. What's your evening routine?
Evening routine at the moment has been putting my 4-year-old to bed, lying on his bed in meditation, and then falling asleep and then waking up again. And I was like, oh, I was going to do that, but I'm whacked out. That's been working well.
Love it. Do you have a most embarrassing moment?
I do actually. I was a contestant on the first ever Amazing Race Australia. Myself and my wife, we were married. We were targeted the married entrepreneurs, and I for the 4 drivers out there, we were in South Africa going through a mud in a game park, and we were first, and we went really slow in the mud. I didn't know you had to go fast, and we got stuck in the mud. We lost the entire race, and we were out after that leg, simply because I hadn't been forward driving before, and I was first. And I went really slow.
There you go. If you could choose 5 inspirational people to have dinner with, who would they be? That could be dead or alive.
I thought about that, and I think I'm going to put down because one day they will be dead. I'm going to put down there all living, but I think my parents, my in-laws, my wife, I think that's one day that will be an inspirational dinner if you don't feel it now.
Very much so. Very much so. And if you were Prime Minister for the day, what's one thing that you would change?
I would probably change. That's a tough question because I don't think I'd want to be the Prime Minister, but I would definitely probably change the taxes, James. I think Australia's taxed too high, so I'd change up some things. If it was for a day, I'd just take them off, right? And throw money out and then see what happens. That's what they've done. So I don't know, something like that.
Love it. Love it. And what's your best piece of advice?
Best piece of advice would be probably to continue learning in some way and some level.
Yeah, fantastic. And what's coming up? What's the horizon looks like for you guys?
Well, we're really pumped about just this whole concept of going into businesses and storytelling. It's something that we've done an education arm of our business, and we're really excited to really help more good business owners out in this storytelling concept of market leaders. Personally, I've finished renovating a house, so that's great. Can be in my house as well, and yeah, just enjoying the journey, James.
Love it, love it. And so, how can the audience reach out, find out about more about what you guys do, particularly on the market leaders, and follow your journey?
Well, our website's Com Marketing, so COM and then marketing, so that's two M's, commarketing.com.au. They can look me up on any platform, Instagram or Facebook. My name is Richard Toutounji, and that's probably the best way. Com Marketing, just say, heard me on James's show, and I'll reach out and have a chat.
Fantastic. Richard, mate, always great to catch up. Great to have a chat. Thank you for your gold nuggets and your world of wisdom.
Thanks so much, James. Appreciate it.